Welcome back to DMV Sports Zone.
Chased down by Beal in the corner for three, gets fouled and hits.
Welcome to DC.
Well, they tag him out.
You know where you're at, the USA Cap. You're taking it slightly, I'm taking it slightly. Now how you gon' act on you gon' be right back. Well, we gon' be right here, we gon' be right here. We ain't going nowhere. Welcome to DC. DC, the home of Chuck Brown. Oh, you don't know the sound? Well, let me break it down.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Abdullah coming at you with another video for the channel. Welcome back to the DMV Sports Zone. And then today, guys, we have a special guest, TikTok star James D. I just already forgot how to pronounce it. You can go ahead,
Dignan.
James. Dignan. There you go.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. As we all know, James, big guy on TikTok. First question that we all want to know: can you please describe your journey on TikTok and how you got into it?
Yeah, so originally I was just going to make NFL content and it was pretty bad. It was just about the worst content. Like now that I look back on it, I was confused. I was like, why am I not getting a following? If there was a way to unfollow someone without following them first, that's what I would have did if I saw my content. It was bad. But over time, I saw what connected with my audience, and there came a point where I had like 100 views or 1,000 views of video, and I was like, I don't really care. I just enjoy talking about football. I'm gonna commit to it. And eventually I made a quick Q&A series, and it really took off from there.
Got it. So talking about, making that type of content, do you have any tips on growing on TikTok?
Yeah, so the most important thing is to not be selfish with your content. You really want to make sure that you're providing value to your fan base. You want to make sure you're engaging with your audience, especially when I see smaller creators and they only have, not only have 10,000 followers, but when you have a smaller following, it's easier to stay on top of things. I have some videos now that have like 1,000 comments. There's not enough time in my day. I cannot possibly answer everyone. But when I used to get 100 or 200 or 300, I would get the little spam thing on TikTok that said I'm a robot and I can't answer for the next 24 hours. I would 2-3 hours straight of just answering comments. So you have to really care about your audience, because I think that's what's helped me the most. I look at other creators, for whatever reason, some don't answer. I don't necessarily know everyone's situation, but to me, focusing on providing value and engaging with the audience, to me, is the most important thing.
No, I completely agree. That is a huge thing. So going off of that, how do you deal with hate comments and just hate in general?
By understanding that that person must not be in a good place in order to be spending their time hating on me. Like I don't have enough sadness like to want to like try and bring someone else down. Like if I'm down, I address that with me. But I just can't imagine bringing somebody else down because I'm feeling down. So I have sympathy and empathy for where they're coming from, and usually people don't even see it. I have a bunch of terms that get blocked out, and if that comes up, I'll be able to review it, and I just block the person. I just don't take it to heart, because I know a lot of the time it's just that person's frustrated with whatever they're taking it out on me.
No, I agree. It's a huge thing that we have to deal with, especially as content creators. So going on, transitioning to the NFL, some big news happened not too long ago. Tyreek Hill, I mean, we can tell you're a Jets fan. Jets were very close. What's your thoughts? Are you upset?
I knew going in that no matter what happened, I was going to justify my way into happiness, right? Like, all right, well, if we got Tyreek Hill, he's going to take the top off the defense. He's going to be a mini Patrick Mahomes. Oh my God, this changes everything. Now we're not going to be a laughingstock team. I was going to go that route. Now, it was always, I have to be like, well, 30 million's a lot of money, and it's a good amount of draft capital we were going to give up. So I don't know. I'm not looking forward to playing him twice a year, but at the same time, for like in justifying for a guy who most of his success is based off his speed and athleticism. At 28 years old, with some off the field problems in the past, giving him 30 million when we're a team where Joe Douglas has been saying forever, this is a culture-based team. You're going to give someone who's had off the field issues in the past the most money on the team by far and say, this is our guy now. Obviously be happy to have him, but at the same time, for the amount that we would have had to give up, I'd rather we just try and hit on a receiver in the draft at 10.
So I was going to ask you on that. The Jets, what's your thoughts on their moves this offseason and just the future of himself and head coach Robert Saleh?
Yeah, so I think it's a little too early to tell with Robert Saleh. I love his personality, but him coming in, being a defensive-minded head coach, and then us having the worst defense in the NFL, I don't necessarily think that falls on him. But now that we've added more pieces on defense this year, and the fact that we have Carl Lawson coming back from injury, I think it'll be a prove-it year for Zach Wilson and Robert Saleh. Not necessarily that if they do poorly, they'll be replaced, but they'll be on a hot seat going into year 3 for sure. So I do like Saleh as a person. I think he will be a good coach. And overall, I'm very happy with the moves that the Jets made because we didn't have a lot of talent to begin with last year. And then you have your starting quarterback miss a month. 2 of your starting receivers and Corey Davis and Elijah Moore miss a month. Michael Carter misses a month. Mekhi Becton misses the entire season. Carl Lawson misses the entire season. Marcus May misses half the year. So every good player we had went down, and we didn't have that many good ones to begin with. And we still were able to beat some teams like the Bengals and the Titans. So I do have some optimism, but then the fact that the entire AFC is so unbelievably stacked now, even just being in the playoff picture is going to be tough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. It's crazy how the firepower is just transitioned to the AFC. What's your thoughts on the new look conferences?
I would love if we could just, put the Jets in the NFC East. That'd be great. Like, just switch us out with the Cowboys.
Yes, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, no, I feel like that should be the move. It'll help for ratings too. The Jets get to play the Giants twice a year. The NFL should really make that happen, is my opinion. But seriously, AFC is loaded, man. The only way that I see teams like the Chargers or the Bills not like making a real run is if Herbert or Allen get hurt. Like some of these quarterbacks, if everyone's healthy, it's just going to be a dogfight the entire way. I can't believe that there's this much talent. It feels like the NFC is not necessarily weak, but to have this many franchise quarterbacks all together, it's so hard to tell coming into the year who's going to be good and who isn't, because even the bottom feeders got better. I think Peterson is a big upgrade for the Jags at head coach. I think Lovie Smith is an upgrade for the Texans. I don't think the Jets are going to be that bad. The Steelers are always pretty good, and those are the worst teams in the AFC. Everyone else is, stacked beyond belief, and even the bad isn't so bad. So it's going to be fun watching this year for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. But talking about the offseason moves, can you give me one overrated move and one underrated move?
An overrated move and an underrated move. I think, being a little biased, I think an underrated move was Braxton Berrios coming back 2 years, $12 million, being an all-pro returner and being pretty good in the slot, and seeing guys like Christian Kirk get 18, 20 some million, he got a bag like that. I can't believe he got that money. Personally, I think it's a conversation. Who would you rather have, Berrios or Christian Kirk? I think maybe even majority would say Berrios. To get him for like a fourth of the price. And I know he's an outlier, Christian Kirk, but still, Braxton Berrios only getting $6 million. I think that was a really good signing. Really good signing for the Jets. An overrated move, that one's tough. I mean, I think Carson Wentz to Washington maybe is overrated, because I think some people have seen 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and said, "Oh, well, he played pretty solid last year." Technically, yes, he did have a good year. He wasn't a bad quarterback last year, but he played very reckless. It easily could have been 23 touchdowns, 18 interceptions. It could have looked a lot worse. So I'm hoping that he does well next year, but I really don't think that changes enough for Washington going forward.
Yeah, that's the direction of this organization as long as I've been a fan. Just trade for average quarterbacks and let the fans rant about firing the owner or just letting him do something that he doesn't want to. But that's besides the point. We can talk about the Commanders. I can rant about them all day. But let's move on to the draft. Draft season is upon us. So I want you to let me know, who do you want the Jets to draft, and could you give me one sleeper prospect?
All right. So I have an exact plan, and this is
Label it
exactly
up.
what needs to happen. All right. At 4, we need Kayvon Thibodeau. It just has to happen. We need him at 4, have him on the other side with Carl Lawson. Then the interior will be Quentin Williams and Sheldon Rankins. Maybe John Franklin Myers moves inside. But that's definitely what I want to see at 4. At 10, we're probably going to go with either Garrett Wilson or Drake London. I'm cool with either one. That's fine. I want a receiver at 10. Then we need to move up from the second round into the 20s. You need to get Tyler Linderbaum. Amazing draft. All right, that's the draft. You get that offensive line. If you have Becton, Vera Tucker, Linderbaum, Tomlinson, and Fant, and then you're also adding in another receiver and a great pass rusher, like that has to be the move. Has to be. It's not going to happen, but yeah, that's what I want.
So, but aside of those 3, who do you think is a sleeper prospect? Someone that should be going higher than expected.
It's tough to say because I don't pay too much attention to the draft until April comes around. I haven't done a lot of research myself. There is this guy who's making TikTok videos. I think he's trying to play arena right now. He's a long-term prospect. That's the only prospect I know of right now that might be a sleeper. I'm gonna be honest.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a good answer. I like that one. But one thing that I want to talk about, your quarterback ranking list. I don't know. Have you made one yet for the draft?
For the draft, no, I haven't. I talked to Donnie from Pick and Spreads the other day, and I was talking about his rankings. It's going to be tough to tell. Obviously, Malik Willis has the highest potential by far with the arm and athleticism that he has. But from what I've seen, from the little bit of research I've done, and from what I've heard people say who have watched a lot of film on him, is the traits are there and the film is not. The film is it's a little more telling about how he actually played compared to what you're seeing when the pads come off. And from what I know, playing quarterback, yeah, when you take pads off, it is way easier to look great. I can stand still and throw 45, 50 without pads. I'm not doing that with pads. It's a very different game, and it's different when you have a real defense. So a lot of times you see these guys show out at pro days, and then it falls off a little bit because it's the hardest part about playing quarterback is the mental aspect. You're not, you're blessed if you get a guy like Patrick Mahomes that can make the throws he can make, or Herbert or an Allen. But if they don't have the proper decision making, if they don't know how to make pre-snap reads, if they don't have accuracy, if they don't have good footwork, it doesn't really matter because the ball is not going to get to where it needs to go on a consistent basis. So I think Malik Willis is probably going to be the first quarterback taken, has a ton of upside, but I don't think there's going to be a superstar out of this class. I think this is going to be one of those years where it's a pretty quiet class. Maybe some guys are average starters bounce around, but from some research I've done, I don't think that there's a superstar coming out, but I'll be wrong. There'll be 3 or something.
So I want to ask, hand size, does it matter as a quarterback?
It does make a difference. It does make a difference. I don't think it's everything, but I know for me personally, there'll be times where someone will ask me, hey, how do I throw farther? And then I'll show them where I put my hands. Like, yeah, my hands, they don't do that. My hands don't go where you put. Like, I've been able to palm a basketball since I'm 5'2". Like, I've always had very, very big hands. Like, I was a sophomore at 5'2". Now I'm 5'10". I could palm a basketball and I was like a midget. So, like, I don't know if that's politically correct, whatever. I'm talking about me. So I've always had big hands, and I think that's always helped me be able to throw far because even at that height, I was able to throw 50. So I do think it makes a difference, but if you have small hands and you can do everything else, I don't think it's the end of the world.
Interesting. Yeah, sadly, The weird thing about me is that I'm 6'3", but my hands are really small. I get picked on a lot for that, but it's whatever. I can throw that ball. But I want to thank you again, James. Thank you again, James, for taking the time out of your day to do this interview. Before we go, I want you to plug in any of your social medias if you'd like.
Yeah, sure. So pretty much on all platforms, I'm James Dignan FB. I was making a lot of NFL content. I'm going to be making content about me and my path to going pro. And I'm going to be making some other changes to my content coming up too. So look out for that.
Yeah. I just want to let you guys know James is one of the best content creators on TikTok, has inspired me and many other people out there. So thanks again, James. And thank you guys for watching.
Of course. Appreciate it, man.